Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Bernadette, and welcome to my channel. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you guys are doing well. Today, we will be making my patchwork quilted coasters. Here, I'm just starting the project by unstitching the binding on this table mat. This placemat is actually uh, a Pioneer Woman placemat. I chosen this particular placemat is because I love the print and it's already quilted, so I don't have to do any machine sewing. So we just have to unstitch, and the best way to really unstitch this binding is just to find the seam and then rip one and then rip another one every like four or like every fifth stitch and rip it, and then take the strings on the back and then rip it, and then voila, it just rip easy just like that. So that's what we're going to be doing to begin the preparing, is just to prepare our fabric. And so we're going to be doing that, and then once we are finished doing that, I have like two placemat that I need to undo, and I didn't want to take you along that much, so just to cut the video short. So once that's done, we are moving forward into designing the actual coasters. So I've decided to just take a simple image, which is the lemon, and then I had chosen an apple as well as the pear, because I'm not very good in drawing, so I figured these are just really simple shape, easy to make, that anybody, including I, can um, can draw. So and then once that's done, I just cut a construction paper as a pattern, so then this way I can keep reusing it. And I wanted 4 pieces because I wanted to be a set of 4. So I tried to make an apple, a lemon, and a pear. Those are my 3 favorite. And then I added a peach. And as we move forward into the video, you will see why I scratched the peach shape here. So when I'm drawing this, I just make sure I keep in mind that the image that I'm creating is big enough for a coaster, and I took my cup to check, make sure the size is big enough, so nothing, no science to it really, it's just I just draw and decide as I go. So if I can do this, like I said, anybody can do it. So this video was almost an hour long. I had to do some serious editing, and this is why I'm doing the voiceover. So I think I got my pieces perfected. Whether it was too small or too little, I'm making the adjustment. In this case, it was a little too big, so I cut it to a little smaller, and that's just how I did it. So I'm sure you probably have another way of doing that, but that's just how I did it. So okay, let's move forward. That we finally got our pieces, let's move forward into the binding pieces. Again, this fabric is from Pioneer Woman. Sorry, I was clapping my hands there. So you just kind of find the bias where you find that stretch, and that's how you want to cut it, and that's why I have it into a triangle shape. If you cut it like the way it was, follow the prints on the pattern, you're not going to get the bias. The bias is what gives us that ease when we start sewing this binding into our coaster. So this way our coaster does not buckle up or wants to curve up in a sense, and you will see that what happens when you don't cut your binding into a bias when we move forward into the video with the peaches coasters. So I'm just cutting it into 1.5 inches, and then once we cut all our strip, we will be ironing it, and we will fold it in basically in quarters, 4 quarters. So what I do is I fold it in half first, and then I take the edge and fold it halfway, and then fold it again. So it'll be in 4 quarters pretty much. So now that we got our binding all taken care of, now the last thing we want to prepare is to cut our coasters into those placemats. So I'm just placing my pieces in the placemat because there's multiple prints in there. I want to get as much print as I can in each coasters. Like the apples obviously is red. I want to put a little bit more red in there. The lemon is yellow, so I want to put a little bit more yellow. It's still at the same time, I want to add a little bit of the other color and design in there because it is, after all, a patchwork. So you just kind of decide, you know, where you want your pattern to be and how much of the design you want to capture. So yeah, I'm just kind of playing around, and once I decided where I want the placing to be, I just simply just take my pen or pencil, and I start tracing and then cutting from there. So I'm obviously very undecided which one I wanted to do there. So, but I think I finally made my decision here. So here I am, just again, like I said, tracing my pieces. I think something that you want to keep in mind too when you're placing your coasters and trying to get the color, the pattern you want in there, is also try to maximize your fabric there. Obviously, we don't have very much to work with, so I want to get as much coasters as I can with this placemat, but and also keeping in mind, you know, wanted to get the actual beautiful piece that we want to capture, and also if you need to turn the pieces, you know, the other way around, upside down, just so you can squeeze another coaster in there, you know, that's something that you can also consider and do and see what the pattern you might be able to capture from there. Sometimes it worked, you know. So you know me, I try to get as much as I can in a square real estate, I guess, per se, you know. So because we don't want any waste, and with waste, you know, it'll just sit there, and if you know me well, I will try and hang on to them, trying to figure out what to do. So it's just excess baggage in my craft room, per se. So yeah, I try not to have a big piece of waste, and then it end up becoming a crumb fabric or whatnot, you know. And to be honest with you, I did not save any of this leftover just because I just didn't want to deal with the little piece, but also at the same time, I did not have a larger piece that was worth keeping to for future project or whatnot. So plus it had binding in it. It was difficult to do it, and then you would have to, you know, rip that. So I didn't bother with it. So once we have our pieces, as you can see, I've already cut them to the size I wanted. It's time to go ahead, move on with putting the binding and start building our coasters here. But before I decided to begin that process, I've also decided to um, add some finishing touch to our coasters. I've decided to go ahead and take the felt and create some leaves and stems with our coaster, just to make it more realistic here, so and make it fun. I'm having fun making this, so as I go, you know, like I said, nothing's set in my mind. I just well, decide as I go, and that's what makes crafting really fun, I think. So here I am, opted to go ahead and take a few of my stash of felt here, and decided to cut out some leaves and stems and add it on there. And then I also decided to go ahead and put some satin ribbons on each of my coasters, just to add that extra finishing touch to our coasters. So um, definitely so much that you can do. You can design it any way you want. You can add buttons or whatnot. And so here we go, the final big work that we need to do. I did not use my sewing machine to sew this. I just hand stitched it. So if you do not have a sewing machine, you can definitely make your own beautiful little patchwork coasters here. So we skipped the little quilting section, you know. So Pioneer Woman had done that for us. So we don't need to use any sewing machine for that. All we had to do was just cut it to shape we want, and then put the binding, and then of course add our finishing touch. You can see I did a little bit of embroidery. So that's all there is to it, and I hope that you guys give it a try. So now let's go ahead and clean up our workstation here. What a mess that I've created, but you know what, it kept me busy and I had so much fun. So let's clean up our table and show you guys our finished coasters. I think they turn out really good. And then this also where you will see exactly what happened with the peach that I said I scratched, because it turned out like a heart shape. And then as you can see, that the peach there on the upper left corner, it's kind of curving. It curves up a little bit like a cup shape there, you know, it's cuffing there. So that's what I mean by cutting your binding into a bias, because it will do that, because it didn't have that stretch. So I can tell that that binding that they use for the placemat was not cut into a bias. It didn't need to, because there's really no curve, because it was just a straight stitch. So but when it comes to some curvy shape like what we have, you really need to cut your binding into a bias. So all right, so here's the finished. I think they turned out really cute. You guys, you can do it too. I'm so excited. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, and we will talk with you again really soon. Bye bye.